Hey, it's Todd Fox here from the Halos in the Infield daily podcast show. It's a special episode this week. I am joined by Dan Edwards, the inventor of the O'hoppe fundraiser here in Lakewood this weekend on the 5th here coming up. And we're here to talk with him about the event and about how he got himself involved in this great charitable event that we hope that you guys can contribute. And Dan, first off, I want to have you introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, thanks so much, Todd. Nice to meet everyone. Thank you very much for having me on here to talk about the O'hoppe All-Star Bowl. I'm really excited for this Saturday, and I think everyone's going to have a great time and support a great cause at the same time.
Absolutely, Dan, and we really appreciate you, reaching out to us and also having us involved in the event. But we want to also say, a big thank you to you because it's a great cause. And I want you to give us the gist or the synopsis of how you came about hosting the O'hoppe event, getting him involved, and following along with his charity and also helping the Angels and putting awareness out there. It's just all around a good thing. And please explain how you got involved in this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. To be honest, it was kind of a situation where one thing led to another that led to another, and came, some different things came together in the right way that we were able to put this thing on. So I was actually at Angel Stadium on opening day. They had a fan fest for the fans, and had a couple players come out, and Logan O'hoppe got on the radio during that, and I was just kind of listening to him and was really impressed by his presence. Didn't really know a lot about him at the time. This being his first full year and everything, but just really impressed by him as a young man. And I had done these kinds of events in the past, and I had been looking to do another one here in Southern California, and I thought he'd be a perfect person to do it with. And so from there, kind of used some contacts that I had built in my career, and reached out to some of his people to see if he would be interested in doing something together to raise money for charity. And it just so happened that helping charities is a big part of his heart, and he loves to support some great organizations that we thought we could raise a lot of money for with this event. One of them being Corey's Promise, that I can talk a little bit more about if you like. And then the other being Miller Children's and Women's Hospital here in Long Beach that he's been doing a lot of good work for this season.
Well, let's talk about that one there in Long Beach first before we talk about the actual one that we're going to be participating with this Saturday. So you do know how he got involved in that one?
Yeah. So, reached out to Logan, and he had never done a charity event here in Southern California. And after speaking with him and his team, learned a little bit more about Corey's Promise, which is a charity that he is very close with and does a lot of good work with. When he was in the Phillies organization coming up in the minors, he had a very good friend named Corey Phelan, who was a pitcher in his battery. And unfortunately, he got diagnosed and died of cancer at 20 years old, very suddenly and tragically. And as many people might know, his father battled with cancer as well, and came out the other side, and is doing well from what I hear now. But he kept in touch with Corey's mom and dad and his family, and his mom and dad, Corey's, that is, started a foundation called Corey's Promise because Corey wanted to make sure that his promise was to help those that are in the same position as he is. And wanted to make a promise to do as much as he could to help those in need, especially young ones, going through treatment at children's hospitals. And so the mission of Corey's Promise is to help families with that financial burden that comes with treatment, with travel costs, lodging, being there for your family, and tries to ease that burden a little bit. And so we're proud to be helping them out with this event on Saturday.
And that's excellent because it's kind of a little bit better alternative for, like, I know you've heard of like the Ronald McDonald House, how they hook up people with stays close so that you don't have to travel, because a lot of these, cancer affects everybody in every state. I don't think there's a person out there, Dan, that that doesn't have a family member or close friend or relative who has experienced or had to go through the trials of cancer or treatment or surgery. And it's very trying on everybody involved, and especially the person. And if you can ease that in any way, like the Ronald McDonald House Foundation did, and then this one as well, as far as providing travel and things like that, that's huge,
Yeah.
because you could be in the middle of Heartland and there's really not a state of the art cancer treatment facility around. Some people have to go from like Missouri to Minnesota
Yeah.
because they have a famous hospital over there, or they have to fly to California, Utah. So these kind of organizations like O'Hoppe with Corey's Promise, and that have these charities, are huge for families, and you really don't realize how much benefit it can do in the long run until it's actually experienced by somebody. So these are great. This is a great charity for people to reach out to you and O'Hoppe and contribute to this foundation.
I appreciate that, Todd, and you're absolutely right. People say that when a member of your family gets cancer, the whole family has it, because you're all kind of going through it together. And luckily, Miller Children's Hospital does amazing work to help kids and women that are going through cancer treatment here locally. And that's really what we wanted to do. Corey's Promise is based on the East Coast, where Logan is from, but obviously playing here in LA, we wanted to help kids here in the community that come out and support him. And luckily, we're blessed to be able to have about 10 families with children who have had treatment at Miller's and come out the other side healthy. And we're here to celebrate them at the event and their family, to just have a wonderful time, build some memories, and hopefully pay it forward to others that are going to be needing that same treatment in the future here.
And that's awesome too, because the more and more that time goes by, I mean, a lot of times in the 90s, 80s, you get cancer, it's not looking good. But the advances in technology, the advances in medicine, and then also the fact that there's so many charities that are popping up that are doing the right thing, and like you said, paying it forward to help those, and then to see the fruits of the labor of those kids that made it on the other side. They're not dealing with it anymore. They've moved on, or they got through the biggest hurdles, or they're getting through it because of that. And I think that's the best thing that can happen with this entire event. Because being there with as you're going to explain what's the deal, and how, what goes where and who's going to be there. And that's all nice. But I think, once the celebration is the main key right there, is to celebrate these lives, like you said, and look forward to helping more and more.
Absolutely. We're there. It's always wonderful to be around these great players, and they've had a season where they're all probably very exhausted from playing so many games, and just getting off on Sunday, and it just kind of shows the type of man that Logan is. That I'm not finished. I'm here and continuing to do good work in the community. When he doesn't have to, to be honest. And so it's just, we're really blessed to be working with Logan and someone with a heart as big as his, to be able to come and be the face and the host of this, get his friends and family rallied around to be there and support him. And I think that he'll be extremely happy to see the Angels community and just how much they came out to support him in his efforts to do good work here. And I think everyone's going to be extremely happy and have an amazing time.
Absolutely. And then Brian from OC Dugouts will be there as well. A nice, he's been doing some stuff with the charity, and the fact that he's a cancer survivor is huge, and his story is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have a lot of support right there. Now, getting involved, obviously, hopefully we have I'll post in the notes the link. Hopefully you have a link that you can contribute to if people can't make the event. But for those making the event, what is in line for those that are going to be there, not only just seeing O'Hoppe, but what else do they get to experience with also seeing the survivors and some of the other Angels community? What else is going on at this great bowling event that you've set up?
Absolutely. So the reason that Logan and I wanted to put this on is, one, to support a great cause, but two, to create a great experience for the fans that, doesn't really happen every day. And I think we've all been to plenty of games where we're sitting on the sides, really hoping for one of them to come over and say hello and sign an autograph or take a picture. And when they do, it's incredible. And growing up here in Southern California, getting the opportunity to, get face to face with some of my favorite players as a kid, which just really wasn't accessible. And, so everyone who comes to this event, I tried to make the price be accessible so that every family could be a part of it if they wanted. But everyone who comes is going to be able to actually bowl with one of the players in the Angels organization and get face to face, up close and personal, compete together, trade stories, have fun, and just kind of have that one-on-one interaction that we all really crave. Logan is inviting all of his teammates, but being the end of the season, a lot of them are dealing with things, going back with family, vacations. So I don't have a full list of all the guys that are going to be there, unfortunately. I think I can say, Mickey Moniak will be there. Clyde Wright, one of the Angels legends that I think we all know and love, will be there as well. And I've been told so far that about 5 or 6 guys are doing their best to get there, and he's working on more. But I wish I could tell you a list of players that are going to be there to expect, so everyone could be ready. In this business, it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes even guys that you expect to come, don't show up. And then guys that you don't have no expectation of coming, they show up too. And so I wish I could give you more, but it will be a surprise. And I promise that everyone is going to be very happy with the turnout and the interaction that they'll be able to have with the guys that are there.
Yeah, that's what we're all looking forward to. Obviously, paying it forward is the number one thing to do there. But also, like you said, I mean, you can go to spring training. I think that's where fans, I think, get the most reaction, because it's all about business. And for the players that do come by and sign autographs during regular season, that's great. And they do their best to do that as well, interact with the fans. But it seems like I've always experienced the most interaction in spring training, because it's so, quaint. It's so, they're more relaxed, because it doesn't really feel too much pressure. It's just basically glorified practice. Yeah. But when it comes to something like this, they're even more relaxed. They're like one of the guys, one of your friends there, and that's what it appears to be. And it's going to be more hands-on, and it's going to be a really good meet and greet, like what we did at Mezzo with Ben Joyce. It was just so, he felt like one of the guys. So we're all, I think we're all looking forward to it. And to actual bowl with a former baseball player or a current baseball player, that's awesome in my book.
I agree. It's something I always dreamed about as a kid, and working in sports during my career, I got to see how these types of things come together, and I always thought I could do it in a different way that, like I said, made it more accessible to the average person rather than who type of deal. And so I think everyone's going to get a chance to see these guys in a little bit of a different setting, and their personalities tend to come out a little bit more than they do when they're on the field or getting ready for a game, because they're focused on other things. And, at these types of events, they're having fun. A lot of times their girlfriends or family comes with them, and they're just enjoying themselves as well. And it tends to be a great interaction between the fans and the players in a relaxed setting. And everyone has a good time from my experience over the years.
Absolutely. And speaking of your experience, just to give a little breakdown or a background of your experience, what other events have you hosted or been a part of or collabed with?
Sure. So I've been working in the sports industry, sports marketing, for about 15, 20 years now, and started out as a nobody and working my way up, but got the chance to work with Warren Moon early on in my career, the famous Oilers Hall of Fame quarterback, and got to put on some different events that he was doing surrounding the NFL Pro Bowl, the Masters in Augusta, and the Super Bowl in certain years. And I got a chance to see how these things come together, where bringing athletes and celebrities to be, bug lights, if you will, to attract people that want to come out and support a charity, have some fun. And how all that come together, it kind of inspired me later down the road to want to do that same thing in my own way. And so actually got a chance to, when I started doing this on my own for the first time a few years ago, I actually reached out to Warren Moon as one of my first people and asked him if he would let me bring one of his old events back to life during the NFL Pro Bowl that we used to do in Hawaii when it was hosted over there. Mm-hmm. And the last few years, recently, it was in Las Vegas. And so we were able to put on a few events called the Warren Moon Hall of Fame dinner, gala dinner type of events where he would invite some Hall of Fame players. Last time we did it, Shannon Sharp and Andre Reed were the co-hosts with him. And we had some pretty amazing players like Joe Burrow, Ray Lewis, Joey Bosa, the Mark Davis from the Raiders, Steven Jackson. Just Warren is very loved in the community, and so a lot of guys came out to support him, and everyone had a really good time. But another event that he did early on when I was working for him was a bowling event in Las Vegas, where I saw some incredible names like Jerry Rice. I mean, my jaw was to the floor, Todd. I couldn't believe it, and
I would be too. He was one of my favorite players. Even though I'm a Seahawks fan, I have mad respect for Jerry Rice.
Just incredible. And I always dreamed about putting on something like that I had seen, getting to that level where those types of names are showing up. You got to work a lifetime to get there. But that inspired me to do an event during the Dodgers All-Star game a few years ago when the Dodgers hosted it, and brought some Dodgers and Lakers players together to do the first All-Star Bowl, and mostly 80s, Showtime and 80s Dodgers players. And it was a great time and a lot of fun. But I always wanted to work with the Angels and the current team, and this was my opportunity to do that. And so this is the second All-Star Bowl technically, but my hope is that we can do this with Logan every year, and this will be the inaugural O'Hoppe Bowl, and we can do it next season, during the season, and every season after that, and just do a lot of good work for the community.
And that would be great, because the one thing the Angels have had a hard time in the past is bringing the community together. So this hopefully does that on not only the fans side, but the podcasting side. The players get in there. So I think you're putting the right foot in the door. And I think this, there's no doubt in my mind there will be a second annual and maybe a third and fourth, because this is a good cause, and it touches all of us. I lost my mom to cancer. She battled it 4 times. She just couldn't come out the 4th time.
I'm sorry, Sam.
Yeah, it's just, but it's near and dear to me too. And I think when it's reached as many people as it has, because there's so many forms of it. It's terrible. Some sides that, that we're winning, winning the fight. And then there's some sides that just still need a lot of work. And, and especially with children, it's real huge to see those fighters, the young fight. They really try hard to come out winners on that. And any way we can support, we're definitely down to do it. So,
And it really is thanks to you, Todd, and other members of the community, in podcast, social media, Brian at OC Dugout. None of this wouldn't have come together without you guys' help. It's really a community-led, grassroots Angels fandom and love for the team that's bringing this thing together and going to make it as successful as it will be, I should say. And so, really the thanks goes to you and to the rest of the community for being there for Logan. I know that he's going to be, I'm hoping he's going to be just blown away. He's a humble guy, and he's got a big heart. And I think that it's our opportunity to show him just how much we appreciate him and the work that he's doing his best to do. And I have to remind myself that he's only 24 years old, Todd. I mean, I remember what I was doing at 24, and it sure as heck wasn't going and doing all this amazing stuff and working as hard as he is. So, and I have to remind myself and, that he's he's doing a lot right now at such a young age, and it's really inspiring. So I think that he's going to be blown away to see the community out there to support him and try and lift him up and help him reach his goals.
Absolutely. I mean, that just shows you the character, and his family that has raised him the way that he is. Because I'll tell you what, at 24, I was doing forced charity called community service. So
I'm right there next to you, Todd.
so for him to be doing something so worthy of the charity is awesome. So kudos.
Yeah, and his mom and dad will be there as well. So I encourage the fans to come say hello and let them know that, how much, Logan means. I think they're going to be blown away as well to see the community out there supporting him, and they're excited, very, very excited to be there.
Well, Dan, it also comes a lot back to you as well for also seeing his vision, his charity, and what he wants for his cause, and for you to step up and doing the things that you're doing, believing in him, believing in the charity. And so it's pretty awesome too, Dan. We really appreciate you being out here and giving the Angels some love, as well as this great cause some love.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate those kind words. If anyone that comes to the event, I'd be, very excited to meet you all and thank you in person for coming out to support this. It really does mean a lot because, this is kind of a dream and a vision that I had. And as you may already tell, I'm a very normal, average, below average in most cases guy. So putting this together has been scary. It's been fun. It's a roller coaster. And it, again, just means a lot that you and the community have helped me keep things on the rails, and it's going to turn out amazing. So I'm just very thankful and excited to meet everyone on Saturday.
Awesome, Dan. Well, tell us a little bit how they can contribute, whether they're going or not going, and then I'll put the rest in exactly what you got in the notes.
Oh, thank you, man. So there are still some tickets available. Not a ton. So I encourage, if you're on the fence or you've been thinking about it, I encourage you to try and pick up a ticket while you can. But I know it's tough to sometimes make it in person. On the event website, there's also an option, instead of buying a ticket, there's an option to choose to donate directly, 5, 10, 20, whatever you'd like to donate. It goes a long way and it all adds up. So would very much be grateful for any support that the community would like to give if they can't be there. And those that can be there, there's a few promo codes and things to hopefully make it a little bit easier as well, with Friend and Dugout and some other ones that I've kind of seen. I think Infield is one as well, if I'm not mistaken. So would love to see as many people as I can there. And also my information is out there as well. So feel free to give me a call or reach out through the website if you have any questions or anything at all, and would love to see as many of you all there as possible.
Awesome, Dan. Well, I really appreciate your time, and it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Well, Saturday will be here before you know it. So please donate if you're not going to be able to make it, and be there in spirit for those who aren't there in spirit, or those who want to be there for the long term, if you know what I mean. And then also get those tickets, get out there, be there with us, and find a new friend. You never know. You can make a friend with one of these ball players, and you could meet the one that you weren't expecting to. Like Dan said, there's still a lot of surprises yet to come. So it should be a lot of fun on Saturday. Dan, really appreciate your time and the effort you put into this cause.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate having me on your show. And, I'm excited to see you on Saturday so we can have a good time.
Absolutely. All right, Dan, take it easy.
All right, you too, bud.